Ho ho ho. Welcome to day 7 of our VLOGMAS series where we are talking about the step-by-step process of getting a Canadian permanent resident through express entry. So on day 1 we talked about checking your eligibility. On day 2 we talked about taking the language test. On day 3 we talked about the education credential assessment. On day 4 we talked about creating an express entry account. On day 5 we talked about the waiting game. On day 6 we talked about the invitation to apply, and today we're going to talk about the waiting game 2.0. So like I said earlier in the other videos, and if you haven't watched those videos, I don't know what to tell you because everything is linked here. But as I mentioned in the other videos, the more time is you're going to spend more time waiting in this process than when you're actually gathering documents. So this is when you've submitted all the documents as we talked about in day 6. So now you're waiting to see if you're going to be accepted as a permanent resident. The processing times vary, guys. Some people get their application sorted in 3 months. Some people get their application sorted in 3 years. Some people, yeah, so it varies by but let's see what IRCC says about this before. Express entry processing time. Canada.ca, that's my gem, y'all. So it says here that we process most express entry applications within 6 months or less. I mean, mine took time because it was stuck during COVID times and stuff. But it varies by program. Let's see what they mean here. Select an application type. Let's say you're applying economic immigration. What is that? Okay. Oh, I don't know. Which one is the one that we're applying for anyway? This is the one, no? Yeah, economic immigration. And let's say you're applying for the Canadian experience class. This is done in 5 months. But of course, guys, there are exceptions. And it says here the causes of delay is when they need to verify information. Do you remember in our last video I said that the more information you give up front, the less time they have to spend telling you to upload more information. So if you give them as much information as you can so that they can sort through and not come back to you, because once they send a note that they need something, that thing takes time to be triggered into the system. By the time it gets to you, then they put your application on hold, because remember how many applicants they're dealing with. They want 500,000 people, so they're dealing with 500,000 applicants, and your application is not, complete. So they put it down. They deal with those ones which have more information. So this is for your own benefit. Your application will be delayed if you have criminal or security problems. Let's say they go through your police clearances and your background information, and they realize that you were arrested one time in Uganda, you were arrested one time in Dubai. So they will need to verify that and ensure that they're not bringing a criminal into their country. And if they need to do more background checks, let's say they're not sure about something that you say that, you're not married, or you say that you've worked somewhere and you've not actually worked there, so they're gonna need to do, or you haven't listed that you've actually stayed in South Africa, just because you did stay there and you didn't have papers and you think to remove it. Guys, even if you stayed in another country and you went there illegally, unless you did an illegal thing there. Let's say, okay, now I'm talking to my Zimbabweans here. You know how we're always crossing the border and going to SA without proper documentation. And you say, okay, now I'm applying for Canada. Let me remove all that. Let me remove that I've been in South Africa and just, remove that part of my history, and because I didn't go there with proper documentation, that is called misrepresentation, and it can ban you for 5 years. They don't care that you've been a border jumper. Unless you're involved in some criminal activities within they understand everybody is moving for economic reasons. So you're better off saying, yeah, I've been there. As long as you've been there in that country, you need to declare it, okay? Another cause of delay is your family situation isn't clear. You have a divorce or an adoption that isn't yet complete. So you're saying you're separated, or like you're saying you're divorced, or but it hasn't been filed yet, or you have child custody issues. The other parent has not signed off to say, yes, I'm allowing my kid to go with this person to Canada. Then yeah. So this can cause many delays. What caused my delay is one of my police clearances had not been provided yet. Well, within COVID times, that embassy was closed. So I did submit my application, since it was going to be the time was going to lapse, and I made a note in that application that I'm waiting for police clearance from this country, but they haven't gotten back to me because they are working with minimal staff. But once they get back to me, I will definitely upload the whatever. This is what I was talking about last time about writing letters of explanation. So they knew what's up, unlike me just uploading the things without an explanation letter. So they didn't touch my profile because obviously it's not complete. Then once I got my PCC from that country, I uploaded it, then they started. And then of course they're working with minimal staff, so they were quiet. Then I got married, then they had to go to verify my situation. So changes. Avoid delays by updating your information. So you can use the IRCC web form to tell them, like, I applied as a single person, but I got married. So all those changes were within, like, if you're changing your email address, birth, I later added my kid also. If you're adding marriage, if you're divorcing, it's not by force that, okay, I've applied for this permanent resident, I need to stay within that marriage simply because I have applied. They understand that life happens. If you adopt, if you change your job, if you got new, yeah. So there's IRCC also has like an application status tracker that people are using nowadays. So you can register for this tracker, and you can use this tracker if you're applying for a sponsorship of a spouse, partner, and dependent child, express entry, study work permit, a work permit, visitor's visa. So you can always create an account so that you can track your profile. Some people say that the tracker is on point, but honestly never found it very effective on my case. But you can always try. The good thing is it's free, right? Or you can call IRCC and ask them the what is it called, the status of your application. Let's see here if I can get that number. IRCC number, yeah, this is the one to call. IRCC call center, 1-800-242-2100 from within Canada only. I don't know if that's yeah, but here in this profile, if you have something that you need them to know, you can always do it by web form. Visit their offices if you're within Canada. I don't know if that's, yeah, they are located within embassies, high commissions, or consulates, or yeah, or you can use the client support services. You can call them and talk to them as well. So yeah, this is how you can contact them if you need to talk to them while you're waiting for your application to be approved. Guys, you will be tested in this process, in this season. You'll be tested so much. You, like, if your application takes time, even if it doesn't take time, you always have that anxiety, like, is it going to happen? Are they going to approve? Are they going to what? At some point I was thinking of taking a writ of mandamus to them, like, make a decision, am I coming or am I not coming? Because life was lifing, and you're afraid to move on, you're afraid to go through with life, simply because, and it sucks. Yeah, so I hope that doesn't happen to you. Like, if you need to contact them, I had to call them at some point. I even requested for GCMS notes. That's another way of finding out how your application is progressing. So you can make a request to have them send you, to get to have them send you, like, how the file is moving, so you can actually see notes from different immigration offices. Some of them will even tell you, like, this one is held because of this, or they're waiting for something, they're not clear about something. For example, they're not sure that you worked where you say you worked, but they haven't asked you, right? It is within officer to officer. They're just, marking your paper, and the other officer has questions. The other officer looked at it but did not have questions. So now it's either they decide that, okay, let's leave it, or they will ask you to provide. So that takes time. So if you have your GCMS notes, you can see where they have questions and upload whatever they have questions about before it has begun to be a thing. And it's actually $5. But the gag is to send a request, you must be a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident of Canada, or an individual or corporation currently in Canada. So the first time I did it, I used, there was a service online. I found it that offered that, and it came. The second time I did it, I used through a friend, and those notes never came. So it happens, hey. But in case anybody wants me to help them request their GCMS note, and since I'm a permanent resident of Canada, I can try. That is, if you guys show this my video some love, then maybe I can help you with that. So yeah, that's basically all you can do while you're in the waiting mode of your application. It's hard, but it's worth it. Yeah. So anyway, as always, we're going to move to the next topic. Please, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share these videos with other people who you think it might help. Like, you've seen the numbers, you've seen that this works. I mean, I am proof that this works. So I'm speaking from a position of someone who's gone through this with no one, just YouTube videos and reading the sites that I've been showing you guys. So yay. We're gonna move on to the next chapter now. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section or in my Instagram, the same handle, Tata Living. Yeah, so ho ho ho. Ciao.